Hey, what's up, y'all? We are recording here from Chicago, and I would say the biggest downside of being in Chicago and being a Liverpool fan is when the games happen over in England, they typically happen in the evening. And here in Chicago, that will be the morning for us. You guys are about 6 hours ahead. So we have to endure the entire day with the results of that match. And for the past week, that's been pretty shitty. Regardless, we love our squad. We want to talk about them because we think about them, because we feel them all day, and somehow we need to get it out. So what's on the agenda? We're going to talk about transfer rumors and potential targets that have been swirling around for a couple weeks, a couple days now, as well as some of Jurgen Klopp's comments regarding his future at the club. Mason Mount is one of those targets, and there have been reports that he wants £350 million a week. I don't think that's true. While he is a very, very good player and he's going to be in high demand, he knows that he's not achieved that potential in order to have that superstar status. So I think it can be easily assumed that that rumor is pretty false, unless he is setting the bar really, really high, knowing that Liverpool will negotiate down and landing somewhere maybe in the £200,000 mark. And Chelsea want £70 million for a transfer fee for Mason Mount. I don't think that makes a lot of sense. He only has 1 year left on his contract, so either they are completely gaslighting everyone, or they know that they're not going to get anywhere near that. So when somebody comes in with a 40 million, 35 million pound offer, that they will think, wow, I got a great deal, half of what they were asking. Who knows? Now, Mason Mount earns around £80,000 a week, and for a player that's come up through the academy and earned his way into a starting spot, he doesn't feel like that matches his value, and I am inclined to agree. Let's have a look at Enzo Fernandez. He is earning £317 million a week. A year ago, nobody knew who he was. And then we compare him to Mykhailo Mudryk, who is earning £97 million a week. And we're saying that Mason Mount is not worth that type of money? That's questionable. Now, if I was in Mason Mount's shoes, or should I say boots, if I was in Mason Mount's boots, and I see all these guys coming in and getting signed, and they're dropping money left and right and signing them to these 10-year deals, which I think is going to be a huge, huge mistake, both for team and for player, because if shit goes down and they want to get out or they want a separation, like they're pretty screwed. But back to Mason Mount. Having spent all that time with Chelsea and fighting so hard just to get a pay raise that matches your value from your boyhood club, that is outrageous. Fucking outrageous. I would be pissed, absolutely pissed. So I'm gonna be honest, I think the only solution for Mason Mount and Chelsea is a split. Mason Mount needs to go somewhere else where he can establish his name again, where he can get the wages that he's earned so far, and separate himself from the club, because we see it all the time where someone has come up through the academy and the team don't see the product that he's developed into. Instead, they see him as, oh, he's an academy player. He's someone who should be grateful that we gave him the opportunity. They think that they made him. And that's not true. Chelsea gave him the opportunity and the tools to be successful, but Mason Mount showed up and did the work. And that's where these squads or owners or administrators lose sight. But moving on, let's talk about another player that is supposedly on the radar of the Reds. And that is someone that's come up in the past couple transfer windows consistently. His name is Rodrigo de Paul, and he plays for Atletico Madrid right now and just won the World Cup with Argentina. I don't think Liverpool have any type of interest in him. He's 28 years old, and we're going to run into the same issues that we've run into this season. So next season, he ages more and just going to get slower and more off the pace. He's not going to be able to press. So I think that that rumor is completely false, unless they're going to get him on a dirt cheap deal and he can be a squad player that fills in and plays the last 20, 30 minutes of a match. And you better believe that we're going to talk a little bit about Jude Bellingham. If we don't sign anyone else in the summer and we still get Jude Bellingham, as dumb as that would be to not sign anyone else, I would still be a happy man. I will be one of the first people in the queue to get myself a Jude Bellingham jersey, get myself some Jude Bellingham socks. You know, if they make shorts, they make boxers, Jude Bellingham, everything. I will be one of the first people there. And it's been reported, and I think this is a little bit of a clickbait title, that he's going to make a dispassionate decision over his next step this summer. And I think they want people to say, oh no, he's going to make a decision that's going to be disappointing to others. And being such a heavily linked player to Liverpool, fans might react and say, oh no, that's a bad sign. But what it actually means is Jude is going to be analytical about his approach to where he wants to go to next. Not necessarily that he's going to be he's going to disappoint people regardless, because he can only play at one squad. And they say that Erling Haaland did the same thing, where he was very analytical on where he wanted to go next, and sentiment wasn't a part of it, but he still ended up at his father's club, his father's former club, and he still ended up at a club with Pep Guardiola, and he still ended up making a whole lot of money. So I think that sentiment had something to do with it, just a little bit. But Jude Bellingham, he's 19, and what I think is a little different is his approach to his career has been a family affair. His dad's his agent, and I've heard that Liverpool have offered his dad a scouting job in the club. Don't know if that's true or what, but we know that he's very, very careful about what he's going to do and who he's going to do it with. And maybe his past decisions have given a hint to what he's going to do in his career now. So what does scare me a little bit about what Jude could be doing next season is Liverpool have been on a serious decline this season, and top 4 is in doubt. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we'll be lucky if we get 6th or 5th. And when Jude Bellingham made the move to Borussia Dortmund when he was 17, Borussia Dortmund finished that season in 2nd place. So this before he moved, so his last season at Birmingham, Borussia Dortmund finished the league in 2nd place. So he obviously wanted to go to a team that was successful. And my hope before looking back at that was that Borussia Dortmund maybe were like 5th, 6th somehow, and he was okay going there because he knew that he would develop and get the experience that he wanted and needed. The fact that they were in 2nd place, and then when he joined the next season, I think they fell down to 3rd place, it tells me that he does want to go to a successful team. And some of you might say, oh yeah, that's obvious, that's why Real Madrid, Man City, and Liverpool are looking at, or are being looked at as the top option. But if Liverpool really shit the bed this year and land nowhere near Champions League, nowhere near the European League, we could be in serious trouble. Unless the relationship has been cultivated so well over the past couple of years that Jude thinks this is going to be a minor slip, and next year we'll be right back at it. We're still going to be in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, and that could be somewhat enticing. But we know he has the skill and the drive to play in the Champions League. He wants to be playing in the top competitions that are available. And Liverpool may not qualify for those next year. So, what do we have left to fall back on? Really, it's on Jurgen Klopp and his ability to develop players and the project that Liverpool could be. And the only way they're going to be able to sell that is who are the young guys that are going to be in the same generation of Jude? Who are going to be the next squad that Jurgen develops? What is Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp 2.0 going to look like? Who is going to be there? And does that appeal to Jude Bellingham? Second is going to be wages, of course. It has to be reasonable. I don't know that he's going to be expecting an extraordinary amount of money, but he knows that he is one of the top players, not just a young talent, one of the top players in the world right now. So let's just hope that Jurgen Klopp and Julian Ward's work over the past couple of years will be enough. I seriously hope it is, and it seems like really the only two options in my mind are Real Madrid and Liverpool. He wants to be a part of a club that has a rich, strong history and fan culture. Somewhere where it's fun to play every week. Somewhere where you know the pressure is going to be on both in a good and bad way because it means that people care. And I don't think Manchester City falls into that. It's not a disrespect to them. They just don't have the same legacy that clubs like Real Madrid or Liverpool do. They're obviously very successful, very wealthy, which might contribute to their success. But I'm not sure that if I was in Jude's shoes or boots, that I would look at Manchester City and say, yeah, I'm going to be like having my photo hanging on the hallways of Manchester City's stadium and training ground. You know, of course, a commoner like me, that would be amazing. But for him, there are higher, further stars that he can shoot for. The thing that could push Jude away from Real Madrid, though, I think there are three major factors. First, there's been a lot of news around Carlo Ancelotti's future. Is he going to become the Brazil national team manager? I don't think Jude wants to go to a place where you don't know who's going to be the coach for the next couple of years. That would be unsettling to me. Carlo Ancelotti is obviously an amazing manager, but you don't know who's going to be taking the reins if he does leave. Or maybe he does. Maybe they've shared the master plan already. Still, a club in managerial transition, I think, is a little scarier than a club in performance transition, especially when it's so obvious why Liverpool are playing poorly. The second reason is Real Madrid is stacked. You've got Hall of Famers, future Hall of Famers, and other players that are just chomping at the bit to be in that game day squad. They do not lack talent. They do not lack culture. They don't lack much of anything. And this is supposed to be a transition season for them as well. So that's insane. But again, Jude Bellingham wants to leave a legacy. He wants to be a player that is adored and idolized, but not in a weird, like, godly way. I think he wants to have an impact on a younger generation and say, this could be you. This could be you if you work hard. And let's be real. Let's talk about the fact that he is a black young man in the professional sport and coming from England. That has a profound effect on kids everywhere. Because how many years were you looking at white football players and those guys were the idols? Kids, in order to develop and have dreams, they need to see a bit of themselves in their idols. And Jude can do that. Jude will do that. He is doing that. Especially for kids in England, but Liverpool fans that look like him or feel like him or see a piece of themselves in Jude Bellingham. The third reason that I think Real Madrid and Manchester City might not, or at least Real Madrid, might not be a viable option for him. Jude Bellingham is 19. He left England when he was 17. And I think he might want to spend some time at home. He's obviously very close to his mom and his dad, and his younger brother Job plays at Birmingham. Perhaps Job will make a move to whichever team signs Jude, if that's in the deal or part of the negotiations. But I think he wants to be home for a little bit. He's gone into the German adventure and gotten a taste of that. He knows that he can be a Real Madrid player later on because he's only going to get better. Look at Luka Modric. He's, 37? And still starting close to every match. Jude has plenty of time to do that. What does he value right now? Legacy, family, and development. He can be close to home, playing at Liverpool. He'll be close to his family in Liverpool or Manchester City, but I'm just going to assume that Manchester City is not on the table. And third, he's going to be working with one of the greatest managers of all time in Jurgen Klopp. And for those who are hating and saying Klopp has got to go, it's this, it's that, no. You're not going to bring in anyone better than Jurgen Klopp right now to turn this club around and to get us out of this transition period. That's all I'm going to say about Jude Bellingham for the next couple minutes until I bother my wife about why I think Jude Bellingham will or should come to Liverpool. Last video I mentioned that there's a player, I believe he plays in the French league, and I wrote it down and I didn't bring it near me. I forgot. I think Florient. I think that's a team in the French league he plays for. Apologies, I should just have it right here, but I don't. Enzo Lefebvre. It's interesting because if you go on Football Reference, the top 2 players that supposedly are most similar to Jude Bellingham, first is Leon Goretzka, third is Enzo Lefebvre. If Enzo's truly a target of Liverpool and he's not going to be that expensive, that could be a nice pairing. I know that they're saying that they're similar players, but we need young, workhorse style players. Because you never know. They say where there is smoke, there is fire. So that's going to about wrap it up. There's one piece of information that just came across my desk that does worry me a little more about Jude Bellingham's potential move to Manchester City. I didn't realize that Manuel Akanji, who's having a phenomenal season, he also played with Jude at Borussia Dortmund. If he's looking for a reunion with some of those guys and has a really strong relationship with them where they can sell the club internally and the things that we don't see as fans, how players interact with each other, lift each other up, or how they vibe, we just don't know. If he does have that good relationship with Manuel Akanji as well as Erling Haaland, then that worries me a little bit. For now, we'll just have to see. We can hope, pray, do whatever we want, but only time will tell. Till next time.